we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no more. Oh, even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm.
Welcome back to Coffee with Jess. Today I thought, since it's just you and me, we're going to just kind of take a little bit of a chill talk about expectations and hope. Like, what's the difference between the two? Actually, it's not just you and me. Scarlett's here too. So what are expectations really? Are expectations a good thing? Are they a bad thing? I feel like in different times in my life, some things have been good and some have been bad. I think honestly that it's because a lot of times we think that we know what's coming our way, and when things don't turn out like that, there's a level of frustration that can just really bring us down. David and I were talking about like what are expectations, and I think maybe in English it's a little bit clearer. It's expectations is what you expect. Like the Swedish word for it is förväntningar, for waiting, something that you're waiting for, I guess. But then there's förväntan, for waiting, or förhoppning. And in Swedish they sound fairly similar, but I guess the definition in English should be expectations versus hopes. Like, what's the difference between an expectation or a hope? I mean, like an expectation would be something that you are assuming that this is going to happen, whereas something that you're hoping for would be, this is something that I wish would happen. I think it's really interesting because I think it's like, well, when do we have expectations? We have expectations all the time in pretty much everything that we do. There's some kind of expectation. And I think when we're young, we have expectations on what is life going to be like and what lies ahead of me. And we also have hopes, and they're important, but they're two different things. So when do we have expectations? I think a lot of times we think that we know what's coming our way. We think we know what lies ahead, and we're kind of counting on it. It's that assumption of this is the direction that I think that I'm going. This is the way I think things are heading. This will be the result. So we feel like we've made all these choices. We've moved our life in this direction. We chose that education. We did this. We got that job. So it should lead to where we want to be, right? And we can set things up to move towards a specific outcome to a certain degree, but life's. Things happen, and we don't always get what we expected that we were going to get. I think talking about expectations is really important because especially when they fall through, when things that you have set up as goals or whatever, when they fall through and you get a different outcome than you thought that you were going to get, a lot of times that will result in disappointment. And that can either be disappointment that you turn inwards towards yourself and you feel like it's a personal failing, or it could be something that gets in the way of your relationship with other people if you haven't expressed your expectations. David and I do this thing, it's called wants and needs for every weekend, because a lot of times we have expectations. I was actually reflecting on this morning, that I woke up and I was a little bit miffed that David had gone downstairs and was working and the dog was still up with me in the bed. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you take the dog out? But on the other hand, have I properly expressed this expectation? No. He probably thought, oh, cool, I'm letting them sleep in. We need to sort of be vocal about our expectations and our wants and our needs, especially when they involve other people. I think expectations come in big and small varieties. Honestly, this summer, it's 21 years since David and I got married. And I think in the beginning of our marriage, we had expectations. I know one of them was I thought that when I got married, I would be like cooking meals every day. I do not know why I thought this, because I like to cook, but I didn't at that point cook every day, and I still don't. But you sort of have expectations, and you think this is going to happen if I do this, and things don't always turn out that way. And that could be like the little small things, but sometimes it's the big things, and those can really set you up for depression and a really rough situation as well. And there were a lot of expectations, I think. I think there have to be. But there are things that happen along the road that, even if you say for better for worse, till death do us part, you don't necessarily count on or expect. The things that life throws at you. When we got married, I did not expect that our son would get leukemia and that we'd have to go through that heartbreak, because it is a heartbreak situation. I also didn't think that I would be chronically ill, and that after years of studying dance and things like that, I wouldn't be able to. I think we know that things are going to be hard, or we've heard that things are going to be hard, and yet we don't expect. It's not that we don't expect it. I think it's that we can't really foresee the things that do get hard in advance. So no, I didn't expect leukemia. I certainly didn't hope for it. But then looking back on everything that has happened and the things that have been challenges and been difficult stages of my life, I can see the things that have molded me into the person that I am today. Somebody was mentioning that, like, if you could go back, what would you change, and would you take things away? And like, obviously, I would never want somebody that I love to be sick. I wouldn't wish being sick on myself either. But I can still appreciate and see the good things that have come from those horrible times, because life is never just one thing. Life is never just good and never just bad. There's always a mix to it. So yeah, it's like I wouldn't expect it. I didn't hope for it, but I can still see the situations that have happened, how they've formed and how they've shaped me. And I think that is really important. I am the person that I am now because of the things that I've been through. And there's a certain love and compassion in seeing the choices that I've made that weren't good, the things that I've decided to do that were a flop, and still saying, you know what, this has shaped me, and finding compassion for yourself, I think, in all of the things that you were expecting for your life that turned out differently, and just kind of appreciating it, So is expecting a certain outcome a bad thing? No, I don't think that expectations or hopes are bad things. I think that we need them to be able to make sense of where we are in the present and where we want to end up in the future. So expectations are needed and hopes are needed because we need them to be able to strive for the future and find motivation in the present for where we want to end up. But even if they're both necessary, I think it's important to realize that expectations can be a good and a bad thing. I think just sort of realizing and accepting the fact that things don't always go the way that we expected them to go. Life happens. Life lives. It does the thing that it does, and things don't always turn out the way that we predicted that they would. And I mean, honestly, like if If all there ever was for me was the stuff that I could see for myself, I think it would be kind of, I'm not saying boring, because I still have fun and exciting expectations, hopes, and dreams. But I think if the only thing out there was whatever I expected for myself, I think that would be kind of small and one-dimensional in the whole scheme of things. Anyway, so that was Coffee with Jess this week, and I'll see you guys back here for the vlog. Bye-bye.